Hi everyone, my name is Kenneth and I'm a member of Team Singapore Debates. This video will be part of a series meant to introduce debating fundamentals taught by Team Singapore debaters. In this video, I will be covering how to do setups for first proposition and first opposition speakers. But before that, what are setups and why are they important? Setups refer to materials before rebuttals and substantive arguments. So it's things like definitions, policy, burdens of proof, and case divide. A setup is important for two reasons. One, it allows for clear debate. If from both first speakers, the definition and context of the debate is clear, then everyone can have a clean and clear debate focused on arguments. Two, it also allows you to show strategy to your judges. One of the three components of debating the WSDC format is strategy, and setups are one of the best ways to show it because you can use it to frame the world the debate takes place in a way that is favorable to your side. So how is this done? Let's first look at first proposition speakers. There are three main components to a first prop setup. Firstly, definitions. Secondly, policy. And thirdly, burdens of proof and yardstick. So let's begin. Firstly, definitions. Obviously, you will include the literal definition and examples of it. But where your strategy comes in is giving a contextual definition. So how does this look like in the world today? Or what has changed in our world that requires propositions policy? This ties into the second part very well, on how to craft a policy. Apart from repeating the motion, you also need to include buffers. Buffers refer to policy modifications to reduce or negate the impacts of arguments from the other team. For the sake of explanation in this video, I will be using the example of a debate about increasing sales taxes. So for instance, increasing the goods and service tax in Singapore or increasing the value-added tax in Europe. So in a debate about increasing sales taxes, proposition teams would want to include a buffer on tax rebates for low-income individuals, so that the other side cannot claim that you are hurting the poor when raising taxes. The third aspect of a first prop setup is burdens of proof. This is very important. A lot of times, teams just repeat what the motion appears to tell them to prove, but that makes a burden of proof redundant. So what you would want to do in a burden of proof is to set out the pathway that your team can prove the motion, or setting out the pathway that the other team must follow to prove their side. So let me use the same example of a debate on increasing sales taxes. Proposition's burden of proof will be to show that this unique mechanism of raising government revenue can translate into benefits for society, while opposition must show why sales taxes cannot be considered at all. Importantly, proposition will also want to point out that any additional measures from the opposition team, like increasing other forms of taxes, is not exclusive to them. So proposition can claim the benefits of opposition's policies as well. What they need to debate on is a specific aspect of a sales tax. So now what should a first opposition do in a setup then? There are three key parts to this, and it's quite similar to a first prop. The first thing a first op needs to do is reframing or redefining if necessary. The second part is a policy, and the third is burden of proof. Regarding policies and burdens of proof, it will be the same in first opposition as well as in proposition. But where the key difference lies in a first op setup is in the first part, reframing and redefining. In fact, this is one of the most important things that first opposition speakers do, especially under WSDC rules, where any definitional challenges must be made in first op. First oppositions always need to be listening out for a narrow framing by the proposition team or straight out incorrect definition. So right at the top of your speech, you will then need to call it out. For example, if proposition wrongly defines sales taxes as any tax by the government, first op must challenge this faulty definition and suggest their alternative, which is a tax on the sale of goods and services only. Obviously, first ops must give a justification for such a redefining. With all of this, I hope we can help you craft better setups in first proposition and first opposition speakers. So this will be all. Thank you for watching and stay safe, everyone.